Florian Wirtz is on his way to Liverpool. That's just one of the things we'll be speaking about on today's transfer news on DR Sports Live at 5, as we have been now for the last few days. So we'd appreciate if you gave us the like, if you chucked a few comments in, if you subscribe to DR Sports if you haven't already. Joining me once more, Super Laurie Lyle on the show to my left.
Come on, clap for him.
What are we thinking about the attire today? Quite,
Nice.
Nice a job. Bit see-through. Or is it,
it's fine.
Georgie best.
What's that?
You look great, Laurie.
Okay.
Don't listen to him.
No, I think he looks great. If you've got it, flaunt it, mate. That's what my mum said.
That wasn't uppermost in my thoughts. I was more thinking about the fact that it's
buttoned up is a bit crazy though. 31 degrees, I'd say. But fashion has no limits. Heat resistant, yeah.
Supposed to be.
Very good ventilation.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right. Try it. Get one.
Well, listen, you never know. Don't rule it out. To my right is James B, my favourite AFTV presenter.
Thank you so much.
Shots fired.
No. What? You think you are?
No, but you said it in my presence, so I'm taking it like shots fired.
No, that's just, I've told you this many times.
Yeah, it's very kind of you.
It's my favourite one.
No, listen, I've got no complaints.
Different courses.
Listen, I have that.
My style, I guess.
Well, thank you very much. I will say, it's so hot in here.
It is.
How you did the watch along yesterday, fair play.
There was sweat dripping down my thighs.
Lovely. Yeah, I'm on fire. But here we go. Let's talk transfers, which we were just saying, Laurie, before going live. It's crazy how you finally go, the season's over. Can just wait a little bit before it starts. But it doesn't stop. I mean, football is literally relentless.
It is.
And you can find more about the transfers on LL Sports. Smash the like button, get your comments into there. And, of course, the Gooniverse.
Thank you very much.
All right, doing big things.
Appreciate it.
Both of you. Do you know what I mean?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're doing well. And if there's any Liverpool fans out there, I have a 10-minute slot of Jeremy Frimpong on Sunday.
Mate,
how did you manage to pull that off?
Listen, you know me. But if there's any questions you'd like me to ask them, get them in the chat right now.
Well done. That's
cheers,
class.
mate. All good. Right.
At the Cop TV. Tell them.
It's the voice of football's most famous stand, isn't it? So
there we go.
Once again, smash that like button. Loads of good stuff coming out of there as well. But forget all that. But we will stay on Liverpool because, as you can see from the graphic on the screen, Mr. Florian Wirtz is on transit to the AXA. As you can see here, here's him and his family leaving Cologne, heading to Merseyside. I think their private jet actually lands in Manchester, and then they'll be heading away from Manchester down the East Lancs Road to the home of the Premier League champions.
Harry Redknapp days, him leaning out the old motor.
He's a terrific player.
Transfer deadline used to be so good, didn't it?
Drama,
I mean, it was a day of just... It was get your popcorn out. Just
remember who was the player, that famous player, the African guy?
Odemwingie.
Oh, the Odemwingie at QPR. He just rocked up.
Odemwingie. But my brother got the scoop on that. He said he spoke to Odemwingie directly about that, and it's actually not as
it was pretty
dramatic as was first.
Oh, it definitely probably wasn't.
Yeah. But it's one of them where you never let the facts get in the way of a story, do you?
No, you don't want to ruin a good story.
No, exactly.
So,
no, it's a great story.
But it's a great.
It goes under the radar that Aubameyang did something kind of similar when he went to Barcelona.
Yeah, that's true.
But because the move happened, it was never looked back on that way.
He
but
kind of just flew out there.
It sort of apparently he had family out there, and I remember Edu in All or Nothing, the Amazon series, was like, what do you say? Oh yeah, and I work at Disneyland. Something like that. I can't remember, but yeah. Anyway,
talk about forcing a move.
Yeah. Well, we kind of forced him.
But let's start on Florian Wirtz. I mean, he's on his way to Liverpool. The unveiling, the medical, the holding up of the shirt at the AXA will all be tomorrow. That's now confirmed. It's a massive signing. We've spoken about it for ages. I mean, it's probably a month old now, this story, but yeah.
Are you as excited now as you was when you first heard?
Yeah, I think naturally over time excitement builds up, but I think the peak of it will be tomorrow when he's holding up that Liverpool shirt. The funny thing is, because of this contract, this fallout maybe with Nike and our transition into Adidas, they're going to be holding up Nike shirts, but they'll never wear them because on August the 1st Adidas take over. But I think they wanted to push the deal forward. I haven't heard anything more about that.
I can think of one person on Merseyside that might not be as excited as you about the news.
Go on.
Sir Bosley.
Yeah, did you hear his quotes when he was on
I think I
duty
did.
the other day. He said something like, "Listen, maybe there's a way where we can both play in the team." I'm not going to give up my spot that easy. He said.
No, listen, I don't.
And I like that chat. That's cool.
Yeah. That's what you want
straight away.
If you're a fan of Liverpool, that's what you want your players to say. Look.
Well, I really wanted to ask you about this as a Liverpool fan. Now, before Liverpool fans get the wrong impression from me, I think Wirtz is class. And when I was sort of thinking about my dream transfer window, he was one I wanted Arsenal to get. I actually think we need a player like him. Going to Liverpool, huge congrats on the signing.
Cheers, mate.
He's not a typical Liverpool midfielder. Does this mean Slot is evolving to something that's more what he wants long term? And then on the topic of Szoboszlai playing, I see a world in which your left wing is reinvented and Wirtz comes on the inside, still plays in central spaces, but then you've got the likes of Kirkes bombing on. Only thing is, you still got Frimpong, who is seen as more of a right wing back. So it feels like there's a lot of attacking impetus added to a side that already scored a lot of goals. How do you think it looks for Liverpool next season? What do you think the balance is there?
It's a good question. I think with Szoboszlai, you know what you get. It's high energy pressing. But actually very similar. Florian Wirtz is known for his strong pressing game as well, and that normally comes from the middle. But the thing that he brings you is obviously class and skill and talent, and it's probably, you're right, so it's the only 10 I can remember since Felipe Coutinho in terms of that creative player in the middle who can play off the front line, shoot from range. He can do that as well. But what he gives you is options. If you play him in the middle, I think it's 1.25 turnovers per 90 in all comps, which was among the most Bundesliga's player with 1,500 minutes played at least. Carrying the ball, distributing the ball from the middle, great. You have, the other wingers and the fullbacks both. You have 4 options.
That's a lot for a team without a recognised 6. I know Gravenberch did an amazing job, and McAllister in a double pivot. I hear all that, but that's quite an extreme setup without having a specialist in front of the back 4.
Or he goes to the left, like you said. We've seen him play there a lot, and as a false 9 as well. And if he is that first line of defence, because we're going to try to suffocate teams and play in their half, basically, you'd like to think that on the counter-attack we could deal with it with the pace that we've got going back that way with Kirkes and Frimpong. But who do you sacrifice? Because if it's a left winger, Diaz or Gakpo misses out. If it's an 8, if you take Szoboszlai away from that, how does that impact the chemistry and the balance of McAllister and Gravenberch? And there are still other midfielders that can come in. Curtis Jones, Endo, Harvey's obviously a creative central player who might leave this summer. But I think he just gives you options. I think the stats in pressing are a big reason why Arne Slot likes him. And he might go from a 4-3-3 into more of a 5-3-2-1, 5-3-2, where you've got almost 2 creative players behind the most forward. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, he carries the ball, he can distribute it, he's got a bit of everything, really. My
theory, are you guys looking for a left-footed centre-back this summer? Are there talks of
it's on the shopping list.
I think you might add a centre-back, and I actually have a theory that Joe Gomez is staying, right?
Yeah, there were some rumours that Liverpool were asking for 30 mil, but I think it would be silly to almost let Quansah go and him.
Right, and if Quansah goes, they'll replace him.
Yeah.
So all this to say, basically, here's where my thought process is going. I actually think you're going to have almost, at times, one of Frimpong and Kirkes playing, and whoever's playing, so say Kirkes starts, you might go like a Gomez at right back, and then you might have someone like Wirtz on the left tucking on the inside. We've got Conor Bradley as well, of course. I forgot about him. But he gets forward well, doesn't he?
Yeah, but defensively he's better than Trent. In terms of, obviously Trent, assists and goals, Trent clears him in numbers, like as you'd expect. But I know you can't hark back to one thing, but that tackle on Kylian Mbappe, for me, that just sums up what Conor Bradley is all about. Blood, guts and thunder, flying into tackles. And as he gets older, he'll realise that you can't fly into that with that strength every single time. But it's not a problem when you're 18, 19, 20.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated.
I'm genuinely.
There's 2 teams Liverpool could play next season. You've got Mamardashvili, Tsimikas, let's say, I don't know, Gomez, and then someone else.
Quansah at the moment.
Or Quansah at the moment.
Bradley,
Elliott, Jones, Endo, Jota, Chiesa, and then whoever else that comes in. So, depth. And I think we spoke about it earlier. This year for me, of course I want to retain the Premier League, but I think the Champions League, this squad I think is being built to win the Champions League, specifically. But yeah, in the first
Yeah.
transfer window of Arne Slot at Feyenoord, he sold 11 players and bought 13 in. It's
Really?
quite ruthless. So I wouldn't be surprised if a few fan favourites. I mean, Nunez, I don't think any manager would be able to almost unlock the key there. It's been 3 years, but I do think Harvey could leave. Quansah might leave. A few favourites might leave.
Robertson?
Yeah, obviously there's been rumours of that, and in a year we could be looking at a completely different team where the only 3 remaining are Alisson, Van Dijk and Salah from that.
I don't know if Alisson's
And
going to even
Jones.
remain that long. I know he's class.
He's got a year left, and then there's an option to extend it.
I think you'll
He's
get
already
good money
said-
for him, and you've got Mamajvili ready to go. So
Yeah, it's.
I think it's. I
future-proofing.
genuinely think it's a fascinating time for Liverpool.
It's a
I
new era.
think it's a great time for Liverpool, having the title sealed, enjoying that, and knowing that you kind of did it whilst everything else really begins under Slot. And I'm not. Slot is huge for what you did last season, but I feel like there's still so much to see in terms of what he wants this club to look like under, in the long term for him. I think it's a really interesting time.
Yeah, it's definitely what I'm calling it, the ambition era.
Yeah, you were saying
'Cause
yesterday.
I've never
Yeah,
felt this kind of. It's almost like we feel as Liverpool fans like there's a massive wave coming of continued success. Hopefully, touch wood, and that's what these signings are a statement of. If you go out and spend 100 on Wirtz, obviously we've brought in his best mate Frimpong. They were on holiday and on a yacht together yesterday.
yeah.
And then Kirkes, it just shows future-proofing, ambition,
Yeah.
a new era, new style. That's fine.
Not
We've seen
sitting
what
on
the
what
old
you got.
style was, the hangover of that into the Slot season, and now he's going right. I've won the league. Now I can implement my own bits and bobs, get my own players in, create my own. We know what his identity is. It's like control and suffocate. But yeah, I'm a big fan, and Florian Wirtz is almost the face, really, of the new era.
Till Isak comes.
Don't say that.
I mean, listen, we were
That's
speaking
really
about
that's
that
starting to
earlier.
concern me,
I know, I was
Starting
saying
to
From
really
a rival
concern
fan,
me.
if Liverpool do get Alexander Isak, what's your instant reaction to that? And listen, I said yesterday it's probably 10% chance, but as the days flick on and it's not been ruled out yet, I suppose that grows a little bit.
The problem is, I think he's the best striker in the world.
Yeah.
And what I want to just say, Haaland's the better goal scorer,
Yeah.
and I think over the next 10 years will continue to outscore Isak almost every single time. But I just prefer. Okay, I just prefer Isak as a player. I think overall everything.
Oh,
he
he's a
does-
better footballer.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
And imagine. And do you know what went under the radar is how creative a player Salah is.
Yeah.
He's always seen as he just hangs up the pitch and scores.
23
If you're
assists.
being really critical, which is ridiculous in itself, he's a creative footballer. He makes things happen. He added that at the start of last season. I think Klopp's last season was when I noticed it most, and
them
it's quite terrifying. It is. It feel, for the sake of argument, it feels a touch imbalanced. Overlapping fullbacks with a 10 and Salah up the pitch and Isak to. It does feel a bit like where's the, but who cares? Who cares? It'd be fun to watch.
This is why
I would
I'm
hate it.
calling it a new era, because we've never seen anything like this before in terms of this level of ambition. We've had even Boston Red Sox fans tweeting us saying FSG are spending all our money, they're investing it all in Liverpool. I mean, we were saying that for years the other way around. So yeah, I'm very excited. Florian Wirtz tomorrow. Hopefully, we see him with the shirt. It's not always the case, James, when a player signs that their shirt number straight away. I think he takes the number 27. If I'm honest with you, because that was his
Wirtz
first
will take the number 27.
Well, I'm not saying it for fact.
Wow.
If I was to put a bet on it, 17's taken, that's his Germany number. 10's taken, that's his Leverkusen number. But his first Leverkusen number is 27, and that's available. It's not the most glamorous number, but Darwin had it
At
for a
least there's a
season.
reason.
But there would be a reason. But Liverpool fans, how excited are you? Couple super chats. SP says, you think Liverpool need a striker signing in order to win the league again?
No.
No, because without
You just
Isak,
won
I'd
it.
still have us down as favourites.
You just won it.
Yeah.
Like I appreciate the
It's
question.
already improved since
Yeah.
we just won it.
I appreciate the question. I appreciate that Man City are doing bits in this window, but no, you don't need to add a striker to win the league. You could theoretically go with the same group, but I think Liverpool are smart in trying to replenish and go again. So.
Yeah, definitely. Also, rumours of Mark Gay coming to Liverpool as maybe that you could probably get him for about 40 mil now. I think last season it was around 80, but it's probably around 40 now. Again, if Quansah leaves, that's a great signing.
Yes.
Jarrell
I would say
Hato
that Gay's a
linked
better
as well.
player.
Oh no, yeah. Than
So
Quansah.
that, yeah.
Yeah, but different ages.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Different ages, but
Gay's a great addition.
yeah.
And he's got leadership as well. So
He's a right fitter who's become accustomed to playing on the left of a back three for Palace. That's kind of Van Dijk's role, not in the back three, but he has to play from the left side of the pitch. And you see those great raking diagonals he can play, but typically you want left footers on the left side, right footers on the right side, and Gay slots nicely into the balance of that back four anyway. So I think he's a great addition. I don't think you'd expect to play every week, but I think he could cover at full-back and centre-back for either of the centre-backs.
Yeah.
I think he'd be a great signing.
Centre-backs in Europe, Jarrell Hato has obviously been linked.
Yeah.
But if you've got 35 mil and that's what they want for him, but also Gay's 40, put your money in that. It's Premier League proven. He's just won a trophy as a captain as well.
But there is a real silk to the way Jarrell Hato plays. Not neat on the ball, left foot twos, play at left back two, come through the Ajax academy.
They bottled it last minute, didn't they?
Yeah, I didn't really care, but
well,
yeah,
for him.
Yeah, for him, sure, for him. Arsenal have been linked, which didn't make a lot of sense until reports came out that AC Milan want Kivior and Zinchenko, and suddenly I get why we're adding another left foot to the back four. We always basically it's not the transfer window if Arsenal aren't trying to add a goalkeeper and a left back.
Yeah.
So
that's it. Just before we move on from Liverpool, Jarrell Quansah looking to leave. The talks with Bayer Leverkusen have become a little bit more intense and serious. The clubs are in direct contact. 4 years left on his contract. What would you price him up?
Sorry, on whose contract? Sorry,
Jarrell Quansah. Bear in mind, good age, English.
Apparently Liverpool
experience.
fans aren't that keen on him, but every time I've watched him, I've thought, yeah.
Do you know what? He in the 23-4 season, he was really good. And obviously next to Van Dijk, you're going to improve your levels massively. But there was a mistake at United last season. A silly mistake at Newcastle.
The underhit pass to Bruno Fernandes. Was that the one?
And obviously he got hooked after half-time in Slot's first ever game. 13 appearances only this season, but Premier League winner.
But
so
also
on paper, yes, he would command a 40 mil price tag.
I don't know. We did this with Kivior where we thought, not at it. But the minute he had to have a run, the English tax plays part. The minute a player has to have a run, you see a very different player to the one who just comes in for a game or two. So I think that needs to be considered. You got 27 million something for Vandenberg. Is that his name? It went to Brentford.
Vandenberg, yeah.
Did he play a lot? I don't know. They paid a lot of money for him.
Yeah, he actually came to Liverpool in 2019, and we had him on loan a lot. And last year when Slot came in, he was in all the training videos and the pre-season stuff, and we're thinking maybe Slot fancies him, but then maybe that was a ploy to say, well, get a few quid for him. He's just been on the latest pre-season with Slot. What
should you get? 30 million. You'll get 30 million for Quansah, and I won't know how, or 40. You're very good at selling. And also, I don't think you need to sell him, and that kind of drives up value in itself. Yeah. It's a bit like, well, we don't have to. So if you want him, it's going to cost you money.
Yeah. And Nunez to Napoli.
I'll be surprised if they get 40 for him, though, I must admit.
Yeah, but I couldn't believe they got 27 for Vandenberg. I couldn't believe it.
Brewster, 25 for Ryan
We are like, what? Yeah. And here, Zinchenko, for me, is a better footballer than those players who just listed there. And they're talking 10, 15 million. Arsenal just
but
kill.
It's the age, though, isn't it? Zinchenko's the age.
Yeah, but when does quality player, Paul? You just talk about age. When does quality? Zinchenko's a good footballer.
Milan love a 32-year-old fullback from the Prem to go over and do that. But Nunez to Napoli.
Yeah. Somehow get 90 million for him.
Yeah, I mean, they're not willing to pay even 70 million euros, which is around 59.8. Again, though, contract expires in 3 years, so 25-year-old.
What do they want to pay? Do we know?
Well, I think Liverpool's absolute base is £50 million.
If you get 50 million, I know you paid a lot of money for him, and
take
I also
the name away and look at on paper what you'd be buying: a 25-year-old European striker, champion, international player somewhere, and Napoli are obviously interested, but
and his numbers aren't bad,
Napoli
are they?
Want to spend 26.5 on who was it on the ticker a minute ago that we saw? O'Reilly from Brighton. They want him
really?
at 26.5. Yeah.
Wow.
Napoli.
Wow. I mean, okay. On Nunez, I think he's a bit better than his kind of I don't know. He's seen as a bit of a joker, isn't he? And I think he's better than that. He's certainly an erratic finisher. There's no question. I remember that miss at Villa Park when
I was watching that in Thailand at 3 a.m. and I almost
crashed out.
Big time, man.
That would have been a fair one.
And I had to be quiet though because everyone was asleep.
Yeah,
so
I've
a silent crash.
I watched Arsenal lose 3-0 at Selhurst when I was in Thailand, so I sympathise.
We drew.
That 4 a.m. at top of the league as well. It was fine. So I've no strange to the 4 a.m. crash out in Thailand. But I tell you what.
And then you watch football. Hey. No, that's all good.
Very, very good.
God, you set me up there.
You know what? Well played.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Nothing. Don't worry, mate. Nunez, decent player. But if you get 50 million, having spent 70 on him 3 years ago, it's not bad. Like, it's really not bad.
Stock has depreciated, hasn't it?
It has. As soon as you drive a car off the range, off the lot, it goes down.
Could be one of those though, if he finds the right club and settles
I've
in
always
well,
said this.
and bit of confidence, scores in his first couple of games.
That's what he did for us. He scored 4 in pre-season in one game against Salzburg. Thinking, hang on, next.
Sonogo did that against Benfica.
Yeah, didn't really work out. But Darwin Nunez, that's the reported fee. Napoli are definitely splashing the cash. AC Milan are interested as well. The Saudis are probably still knocking around to see if any bids go in to test the water. But Darwin Nunez, time over, time up.
Yeah, I think it is.
Adios amigos.
Wasn't there some rumoured drama with him at the end of the season, or was that complete nonsense?
Yeah, there was a clause in his contract that if he started X amount of games, we'd owe Benfica 5 million more.
Right.
I think he was just under the tipping point of that.
Oh.
And Liverpool went, just save the money and bring him on as a sub every single game.
Uh-huh.
It was annoying because at that point, I think the game before that, he did start and score. So he was a bit like, I've just started and scored, and now I'm just on the bench every game.
Okay, right, fair enough.
Yeah, so
He'll go Atleti, I bet.
He's got Simeone written all over him, in my opinion.
Which
Eventually,
yeah.
he might end
I
up
just
there.
feel like he'll play for Atletico at some point.
Or Napoli. I can see him under Conte as well.
Yeah, well, so is
Chasing
Lukaku
everyone
gone?
down like a madman.
Who's Lukaku play for?
Napoli.
Yeah, but was he
Is
a permanent
back to
signing?
Chelsea now, though?
No.
No, is he?
Hang on.
Who is Lukaku's
No,
like
it's Napoli,
parent
surely.
club? Is it Napoli or is he just on loan?
No,
Sure.
it is Napoli. It is Napoli.
So they signed him permanently?
Since 2024, yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
All right.
His clubs are
Well, that's one
crazy.
saga sorted.
So yeah, he could learn off Lukaku. I'm not sure if. I mean, people disrespect Lukaku. The amount of goals he scored is relentless.
He's actually had a great career.
He has.
Played
Let's
for
go
some
to
amazing
Arsenal,
clubs.
shall we?
Let's talk
Why
Arsenal.
not? Thomas Partey. Talks are not advancing over that new deal. No agreement so far. Now concrete chances to split in the coming days. Available as a free agent from July the 1st. 4 goals in 35 games, 2 assists. 32 years old. Is the main stumbling point of this contract talks, these negotiations, the fact that it's 200 grand a week for a 32-year-old? Is that part of the structure in the wages at Arsenal?
My understanding of it was that Partey and his representatives are requesting a 2-year deal, at least, a minimum of 2 years, whereas Arsenal are only prepared to offer 1. That was the chief stumbling block. Now, the wages may add to that stumbling, but that was my initial understanding of it, James, that he wanted 2 years, Arsenal are only prepared to offer 1.
I think that is pretty spot on. There's so many reports. So I want to say this is all supposedly, maybe, because what I don't want to do is attach, I don't know. People can just run away with different things when it comes to players and the money they ask for, whatever. I think Arsenal, like you said, want a 1 year on the terms you're on. Here's an extra year. I think they might do 2 years. But I think the big thing is supposedly he actually wants an increased contract, which already Arsenal are paying Jesus, Havertz, and now maybe Partey, salaries that basically require you to be not just a first-team player, a really relied upon important player. And with Zubimendi coming, there's no guarantee Partey will be. I think if Partey stays, by the way, I think he'll play a lot of football because Arteta clearly rates him and trusts him. But I think the club are just wrestling with what the right thing to do is, and he has other options.
Time's running out, though.
Yeah, it is. We are less than 2 weeks away from the contract being fully expired, and listen, that's not to say he couldn't just put pen to paper on the 3rd of July. He could, but when these sagas drag out, I sort of think that I don't see a way in which he does stay now, because obviously it's possible, but there must be other offers on the table for him this late in the day that make him think.
Done the phone calls and had a.
Well, you'd think he'd be going, God, just take it. It's another year at Arsenal.
So if he does go, then we're a man short in that area, because obviously Jorginho's
absolutely.
Supermendy's en route, isn't he?
No, I mean, but Jorginho's gone. He's gone.
So you're saying you almost need.
You need somebody else, a backup there.
So another defensive midfielder. I mean, you've got Marino as well, though.
Well, Marino's at 8.
Yeah, I've actually did a video about this on the Gooniverse that dropped 20 minutes ago, and I'm a big believer that Arsenal don't need to go reinvest more money into another number 6. Zubimendi will be our starting player there. Rice can play there. If push comes to shove, Lewis Skelly, Ben White, Timber, they've all played in midfield. They could play in midfield. I think we need more creativity and drive. And I think if you're going to lose a Partey, I think you go and add a Morgan Rogers type, a Gibbs White type. I think you add
top of the 8s.
Yeah. I think you go and finally get that player that will complement Ødegaard, and then between Rice and Zubimendi, they'll figure it out. And then you could have games like against Real Madrid. Rice had to play a really advanced high pressing role, but you can still have a Lewis Skelly or a Zubimendi behind him. So I think Arteta and Arsenal need to get creative with what they do, not just go, because the most linked player is Lucien Nagume of Sevilla, 23 years old, French. And from those I really trust who know their football, they say this guy is like the Partey replacement. I just don't know if we need the Partey replacement. I think it's time to evolve our midfield, because for 3 years in a row now, our balance has been a number 6 who gets on the ball, a box-to-box number 8, and Martin Ødegaard. Why don't we mix it up? Why can't we have a destroyer like Rice with 2 8s? Why can't we have a 10 with Ødegaard dropping deeper and a Zubimendi and get more technicians in the team? Why can't we just mix up the balance and have different ways of doing it? That's how I view it.
Speaking of different ways of doing it, Matt Law from the Daily Telegraph.
I've just seen this.
Arsenal
You're gonna laugh.
are among the number of clubs who are monitoring Noni Madueke, who you were just slagging off downstairs. Chelsea.
No, I did say he was a good player.
Him as untouchable. Chelsea do not consider him as untouchable. I mean, look, on that left-hand side, Rodrigo has been linked, Nico Williams has been linked, but Noni Madueke, Chelsea looking to sell.
We need to stop this.
You can't do
this. We
this
need
again.
to stop this.
Have we not learned?
Story, look.
Stop signing Chelsea players.
Exactly.
Just stop it, please. When are we going to move on from this?
And this is Bertra, right? The new fella.
Yeah, Andrea Berta.
I mean, get your phone book out, mate. Stop looking across at West London.
I don't even think he's a bad player. I know Chelsea fans don't rate. I know. Well, yeah, I know.
I think when I look at Madueke, I look at somebody that has talent, but ultimately flatters to deceive. And I don't think we need any more players like that at Arsenal.
Like a Doku?
No, Doku's levels above him.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Doku's levels above him.
Fair enough.
So from a flair perspective,
Yeah.
maybe if
I
you're
look
talking
at
product, but
maybe-
So
class.
Madueke's one of those guys who'll get that
Madueke
hat-trick
might be
against
more.
Wolves and he'll look $1 million, and then he'll sort
What
of
is it
not
with
disappear, but you know what I'm saying? It's every now and again he'll shine. I mean,
Why is that, though?
he just gives me maybe I need to study him a bit more, but he just gives me that vibe. He looks good. A few step overs, runs into the box, some crosses, the odd goal here and there. But can you? Okay, in other words, I'm sure James will see where I'm coming from. If you're looking to build a title-winning team, Madueke's not.
He's not going to win you the title.
No. That's just my view of him. He's a decent player. He broke into the England squad. He had a good game the other day, didn't he? Against was it Andorra or one of them?
Yeah,
so you know, he is. His career is on the rise. But I'm not sure if he's what we want, man.
How much would he be?
40 million, maybe.
Really?
Probably.
I mean, yeah,
that's about right.
A few weeks ago, we were talking about Rodrigo and Nico Williams, and now we've been talking about Madueke.
I've got to say this, right? The exclusive from the Telegraph and Matt Law, firstly, is simply Arsenal among the clubs looking at him, right? But one thing is that when there's certain media that when they pick up certain information, I go, It was like when Romano and Ornstein 2-3 weeks ago got hold of the Kepa Arrizabalaga thing. Arsenal looking at player is open to, and you're going, he's joining. You just kind of knew. I don't know why. The fact that it even got to the media, the fact it was those particular journalists. Matt Law, Chelsea fans can tell me otherwise, but Matt Law seems to always be at the forefront of Chelsea news. And I think he was at the forefront of the Arsenal Havertz deal 2 years ago as well. Then when all that was coming through, it was Matt Law who was like, alongside David Ornstein, and I want to give credit to Alex Goldberg, the Chelsea content creator, who was at the forefront of it too. Like there was, it was concrete, moved quite quickly. It wouldn't surprise me if in 2-3 days we've heard, Arsenal are genuinely moving for Madueke. We looked at Mbemo because we needed someone who could also cover for Bukayo Saka. Ethan Waneri's going to play more in midfield. I think we might actually be looking to sign Noni Madueke, guys.
Are you excited by that?
No.
Yeah. No Arsenal fan's going to be excited by that.
But that's not all. But it's less a reflection of him as a player. I actually think he's a decent player. He moved to the left at the end of last season. I actually looked dangerous. Like I like him. But I like him. I don't love. We need
exactly.
He's not a needle mover.
I need Rodrigo or like even Nico Williams, a bit, Rafa Leao, like players like that.
Would you rather have him or Leao?
Leao.
Really?
Hell yeah.
See, I don't think Leao's all that. And I've watched him a good few times now.
Yeah, but he's above Madueke.
A little bit. Yeah, but he's not had like breakout 20-goal a season where you go, right, here's one of the elite wingers. It's a name that we've heard about.
It's not a title-winning aspirational signing, is it?
No.
It's not.
I'm talking about Leao
that
and
term
him.
you just used, the needle mover, that does not move the needle one iota. And I'm trying not to be disrespectful to the player because he is a good player. But as I've said, to me, he's one of those players that at times flatters to deceive. Looks good, looks threatening, but then when you really analyse it in a cold light of day, did he really do? Is he really that guy?
I don't know why he'd want the move. Because at Chelsea, at least he's starting games. And, he's playing off the left, off the right. He kind of fits. He actually fits what both Arteta and Maresca want from their wingers. But you're going to be number 2 to your literal competition for a place in the England team, Bukayo Saka. So I don't really get it. Now, okay, he might play more on the left, sure. But what are Arsenal trying to do? They're trying to cheap out on the winger because now they need to replace Partey. They still need to go big on either Gyökeres or Sesko. Are they going, well, we could probably only do a £40 million winger, not an £80 million winger? I don't...
It strikes me as though...
There's always one.
They realise that obviously Nico Williams is going to Barca. I've been saying for some time now that Rodrigo is appearing like he doesn't really want to come to the Premier League. I think he wants to stay and fight for his place at Real. So then Arsenal are forced to look at options, and that was one of them.
I wonder who the other clubs are as well. Does it say in the article?
I'll be honest, I haven't even checked. Let's have a little look.
Whilst you're looking, Zubimendi finally heading to Arsenal. As we know, Arsenal pay slightly more than the £60 million release clause as part of the pact with Real Sociedad for the Martin Zubimendi deal. The fee will be a bit higher, but allowing for the old Klarna FC payment in instalments as the club share an excellent relationship. So he is finally coming. 2 goals, 2 assists last season, and another Spanish midfielder added to the ranks at the Emirates. But back on... Just
to add on the Matt Law thing, so it's behind a paywall, so I couldn't find the other clubs. But Noni Madueke is on the radar of a host of clubs this summer, including Arsenal. Arsenal understood to have made checks on a number of different players, which makes it hard to gauge the strength of their interest in Madueke and whether they will pursue him. So I think this, as much as...
link.
Well, as much as I literally was just saying, when certain people get hold of information, it can blow up and it can happen quite quickly. Yeah, let's go with what actually is being said. He's just been looked at, and I would expect Arsenal to look at a lot of footballers, and maybe Matt Law will hold that information, and when it makes the media, people can kind of overdo it. So let's wait and see. But it's just, I think we've just got such, I don't know. We remember previous summers and previous window where it's always been, we need a player. Will Chelsea in their massive squad have a solution to it? And I would like Arsenal to really move on from that way of doing business.
Apparently we're hearing just now as well that Bayer Leverkusen are now in advanced negotiations with Jarrell Quansah.
Okay.
An agreement is understood to be close, and that's obviously Ten Hag now at Bayer Leverkusen. Potentially could have been used as a make-weight for the Newcastle deal with Isaac, potentially, if that's even a realistic thing. because they were interested in him. Eddie Howe did show interest. But if he goes to Leverkusen, I think it's a good move for his career. But the remuneration would have to be proper as well, for that one. Staying in North London, as we see Zubimendi on the screen there, who's going to be very official soon. His new rivals, Tottenham, Mohamed Kudus. Nicky was on the show this week, and he said it's most likely that Kudus does go to Tottenham. 50 million bid expected. Amid, Brian and Buemo Cool, they're still maybe going back and forth with him a little bit. Only 5 goals last season, 3 assists, but still 24. 3 years left on his deal. Can you see a world in which Kudus goes to Tottenham?
Yeah, I could actually. Because he is a good player. I mean, I think he underperformed last season compared to the season before that. But there is talent there. He can score goals. Yeah, I think give him a new project, new manager. I think I could see him doing quite well at Tottenham, actually.
Yeah, they need players. They're obviously going to be chopping and changing. You see the likes of Richarlison will probably leave Tottenham. Who else would be leaving in that front line? Son, potentially.
Potentially Son. Guys, I love Kudus. I've been saying it for... Anyone who watches the Gooniverse for AFTV knows that I've been relentlessly talking about Mohamed Kudus. And the problem is he's just not the perfect fit because he's a left footer who's better off the right. But he can play on the left, has done for West Ham because they've had Jared Bowen and other strikers, and he's played up front for Ajax. I'm very aware I'm in the presence of a Liverpool fan saying this, but
careful.
I think with the right move, the right club, he can have a Sadio Mane-esque
Do you know what's funny
jump.
you say that? Because I was literally just thinking the same thing.
Really?
In the way that, yes, he's left-footed, but he's so unpredictable still.
So unpredictable.
And Mane would drop and then
Spin.
or squeeze in between 2 players and chip the keeper.
Yeah.
I've watched him play a few times at Anfield with West Ham visiting, and one thing that struck me is how tall he is. I didn't realise how big he was. He's about 6 foot, 6'1", I think. And second of all, he did this shot which was an unbelievable save from Alisson, but he's chipped it from the edge of the box. And the power that he can get on it, the speed. I just think this season, because his great season for West Ham was last year, this season, as you can see, the numbers don't really
they're
add
not
up,
great.
which is why you could get him at 50 instead of 75 now. But I do think if you just unlock him in the right team, like you said, he could explode onto a next level.
Yeah.
And he's got every attribute to do that. And I think West Ham, they probably need the money as well, by the way. Desperately.
Maybe. But I just think everything you said there, I love that you use the word unpredictable because, and I think everything I'm about to say was true in Mane. Kudus can drive out wide at players one-on-one. He can drive through the centre. He wants the ball with his back to goal and he'll hold players off because he's really strong, but he doesn't mind the ball over the top too.
5'10", by the way.
So. Okay, fine. He can score goals from distance. He can score bicycle kicks. He can volley it. He can get his head on the end of things. He can just be in the right place for the right moment. I genuinely think this is a player who he's just a fundamentally top footballer. And I think the modern football has moved towards, are you a top right winger in this system? You do this particular thing. Look at Cunha and Mbemo being signed at United to play a very particular inside 10s position. But Kudus, I just think wherever you put him, he's class, obviously within reason. And you've seen that in his career, can play midfield, played up front for Ajax, asked to do a job on the left for West Ham, really is better on the right. I think he's absolutely top. And the thing is, Thomas Frank has a little bit of a track record in the Premier League for getting numbers out of Tony, numbers out of Wissa, numbers out of Mbemo. Sharda, very good player too. He's shown from a back 3 to a back 4, whatever. Thomas Frank can adjust his team to get real numbers out of the attacking forces he's got. I don't. They're going to get one of Kudus or Mbemo, Tottenham. Yeah, and I'm really concerned about it.
How do you feel about that one?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I do see Kudus as a good fit for Tottenham. Actually, I could see him at Arsenal as well.
I could definitely see him
for
at
that
Arsenal.
price. You certainly have a look.
If you're looking at Madueke,
I was going to say I'd rather him over Madueke all day long. At least he actually start on the
left, Kudus.
Yeah, I'd rather him over Madueke. More mature player as well. As I said, to me, Madueke is one of those guys. Flips in and out of games, flatters to deceive. With Kudus, I think you got more of a finished article there.
Yeah. I think he's made for Liverpool.
He's still only
by the
24. Do you know what? I agree.
I think he's absolutely made for Liverpool.
Agree. But I do think he's one move away. And listen, this season the numbers have flattered to deceive, but he's fallen foul of a change of manager, a change of system, and he's probably looking around in training and in a game going, with all respect to West Ham, he's probably thinking, I can do better than this. Do you know? I need to get to another club.
There've been talk amongst West Ham fans that he'd been showing out a little bit, meaning that they didn't detect the same kind of hunger in his second season that he had in his first, and they interpreted that as somebody that might be looking to get away.
That's it. Yeah.
So,
well, where does he end up? Let us know in the chat. Mohamed Kudus, the 24-year-old Ghanaian international, still 3 years on his deal, so I think that's why you're still seeing a base fee of 50. But an excellent player, and one that, if Tottenham don't get him, someone will. And they, like I said, West Ham need the money. Staying in the Prem, Everton are in discussions with defender Jared Branthwaite over a new contract. The 22-year-old, 2 years left on his deal. But obviously they'll be looking to tie him down to a longer one. Massive sell-on value. It's believed that David Moyes wants to tie the centre-back to a long-term project. He's seen as a pivotal part of the Everton squad going forward. Didn't have a great season last year. It was the year before where he was linked to United for 80 mil, wasn't it?
I was literally going to say that. I mean, crazy how quickly things evolve in football, because Arsenal were linked, United were linked, I think City might have been. Why are they not today?
Yep.
And football moves on and things
he's got
change.
An injury, didn't he? Just before
Did he? Okay.
The last transfer window.
Yeah, look, I can't say I'm an expert on Jared Branthwaite, but I like him.
Yeah, he's good, solid player,
ticks
good
a lot of
in the
boxes.
air, scores the odd goal.
And I think this is David Moyes did really well to get a really good level of consistency out of Everton. Ended the season winning 1-0 at St James's Park. They had their big goodbye at Goodison. It's been a really rough few years for them, but they've got the new stadium to come, a manager who they adore because of the history and his return and the form they've been on. Keep some players, add a couple, and Everton will have a good season.
Yeah, totally agree. Super chat. Sebastian Burke says Arsenal in for Noni. Haha, joke club. Flow Friday.
It's not one that's going to excite the fan base.
Uncle James. Thoughts on the foolishness reported on Transfer Daily regarding Van Aert? Would he improve Arsenal's XG? Says Cashley Cole.
I don't know who that is, if I'm really honest. So I don't know if it's a wind-up super chat. But if it is a player I should know about, then I will learn.
Has Uncle Ty paid for the camera yet?
I don't believe he has.
What camera?
Smashed up a camera on AFTV.
One of these ones?
Yeah, I think he fell on the floor during Bayern's Premier League and he knocked one of the cameras over.
Really?
The glass smashed, yeah. It's about 2 months ago, but yeah.
It's about $5,000, them cameras.
Yeah, Robbie made sure he knew.
Right, okay.
On set, he told him in the show. We'll
take it out of his wages, won't we?
Oh, why not?
If it gets to it, we'll just start docking. I can see Arsenal drop below the Champions League spots this year, says SP. Nathaniel says Arsenal complain about a tough start and suggest Liverpool won last year because of an easy start. Arsenal also said for years that they would rather be chasing.
People say a lot of things to cope with what's happening. I just focus on what I've been saying. Basically.
Yeah, Arsenal are not rivals with Chelsea. They're becoming Chelsea's little bro. The Madueke to Arsenal compilations have already started. What a joke club.
I'm sure
and it'll be Chelsea v Arsenal soon in the Premier League, if you know what I mean, guys, says Sonny. What do you mean? What do you mean? Just a quick one on how much money's been spent so far this summer. We know there's still a long way to go. September the 1st it closes. But we are now past the £600 million mark for Premier League spending ahead of next season. It wasn't so long ago that would be about half of the summer transfer window.
Yeah.
A lot of money spent, and the most ever in a summer window was 2.5 billion in 23-24.
Wow.
And it's on course to maybe eclipse that from June the 18th onwards.
I think it could.
Clubs
are spending.
Yeah, they're also selling a lot.
Yeah.
1.4 billion last season, 1.5 billion so far in at the start of last season as well. So
yeah, well, clubs are attracting big money owners, and they have an inclination to spend, because at the end of the day, you do need to spend in order to at least keep up, let alone go ahead of the pack. So
absolutely. Well, if you're a Liverpool fan, it's because I keep saying Florian. If you're a Liverpool fan, Florian Wirtz is on his way to L4. Let us know in the chat how you react to the Noni Madueke news. Let us know how you feel about Nunez to Napoli and all the other stories that we spoke about, including that fella Zubamendi finally going to Arsenal as well, as confirmed. Right, live at 5. How was it?
Yeah, good fun. I'll tell you all, go to AFTV at 6 p.m. It's me and Laurie with Turkish, and we're going to react to this Noni Madueke news in more detail. And I'm sure Turkish is a big fan of Madueke. Can't believe we're doing the deal. So I'm looking forward to breaking it down.
I would imagine, James, our contributions on Madueke are going to be relatively mild compared to what Turkish.
And I'm happy for them to be. What are we doing here?
Well, listen, I might even sit in the studio and watch that
Please
one
do.
myself.
Please
Get
do.
a bit of popcorn.
Nice.
I'm playing football soon, so I've got to get changed.
Enjoy.
But listen,
30 degrees.
yeah, mate.
I went for a run earlier. I mean, I'm an idiot. I don't know why I did it. I mean, it's just like trying to find shade as I'm running.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just that bit too hot. I like running in the sun, but
Do you know what? 22, 23 is enough.
actually, I'm not going to complain because soon it'll be raining in this damn country. So I'm just going to enjoy it. Enjoy the sun.
Yeah,
here
that
in
tends to
England.
be
Enjoy
my
the sun wherever you are.
attitude as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because why not? Sun's worldwide.
Yeah.
But I would say
I will complain about the aircon.
Yeah.
I will production. Can we,
It's Andrew you need to badger.
Andy? I've told him.
Andy,
Right.
I don't think any of us have called him Andy
No, I
before.
called him that every now and
But
again.
yeah, I played
Just to
football in
wind him
31
up.
degrees last week in Holland.
Good work. Ooh.
So it's
now
tough.
you know what the players.
Yeah. Yeah. But I played better than Trent, so it's,
Hmm.
and I actually won.
I heard he was a bit average yesterday.
Yeah, we watched the game, didn't we? You
Wasn't
you
his
cited
finest
it
moment.
as potentially the worst start for him. Or no, you said it couldn't have gone much worse.
Yeah, that's
You said
true.
that.
I mean, what I found, I mean, obviously you don't want to belabor it, but the manager was quite scathing of him. I thought
We
that
need
was
to
a
work
little-
out if those
Who, Xabi Alonso
quotes
was?
are real.
Yeah.
We need to work out
Okay.
if those quotes.
Yeah, I need to know more because
we'll
that
find
seemed
that
to
out.
be a little bit over the top.
A little bit, it was. But listen, man, we'll be back tomorrow. Also, don't forget it's a Friday tomorrow, and you know what that means on DR Sports.
Best of
Best of
enemies.
enemies.
Best
Yeah,
of
yeah,
enemies.
you are. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's-
took me a sec. Yeah.
2 secs. So that's
Yeah.
there as well. So listen, guys, it's a good time to subscribe to the channel. It's an even better time to subscribe to Gooniverse and LL Sports and the Cop TV whilst you're at it as well, right? Smash that like button, get your comments into everything that we've spoken about today, and we'll see you on the next video. Take care.